My name is Judas.
Hi, Peter here.
Hello, my name is Mary and I am a friend of Jesus.
Disciples are what people call us.
We've been travelling round the country with Jesus for a couple of years.
Jesus is about to make a big trip to Jerusalem.
He says it's an important trip, although none of us are really sure what he means by that.
We're all going with him, and I've been asked to keep a video diary.
To help document what happens this week.
We're on our way to Jerusalem. Judas, come and tell us how you're feeling.
I'm so excited.
Oh, come on, Judas. Show a bit more excitement than that.
Whoa.
Well, I'm excited. There are people everywhere. Crowds and crowds of them. Let's go and talk to some of them.
I can't believe that I'm finally going to get to meet Jesus. My sister's told me so many stories about him. About how he fed over 5,000 people with just 2 small fish and 5 loaves of bread. It's incredible. And other people are saying he is the promised one who has come to save us at last. I can't wait.
I'm really excited that Jesus is here in Jerusalem for Passover. When he was here before, I heard him tell some of his amazing parables. Oh, he is such a great teacher. I've been hoping he'd be back in Jerusalem this year because I told all my friends and family about him, and now they can see him as well. Maybe he'll do some miracles and heal some sick people. Oh, I'm really looking forward to Passover week.
People have started waving palm leaves and laying their cloaks on the ground for Jesus to walk on. Oh look, there's Mary. Mary, come and tell the camera what you're feeling about all this.
It's amazing. Everyone has come to see Jesus. They're all so happy to see him. I better go and catch up with everyone else. Woo! Hosanna!
You know, I've been with Jesus for a couple of years. I've seen him do all sorts of things. I've seen crowds of people turn up to listen to him speak, but this is something else. It's just so hard to describe what this is like. Everybody's celebrating and shouting for Jesus. I can hardly hear myself speak above all the noise. You'd have thought a celebrity, like a king, was arriving in town. Oh, just a minute. Sorry, I better go.
Look at this. Just look at this. Jesus has gone mad. Welcome to the temple. Let me show you around. It's a pretty big place, and not too long ago it was full of people, but Jesus has scared them all off. Just imagine the scene. There were market stalls set up all around the room. People were busy buying and selling pigeons and sheep and goats and doves, and there are animals all over the place. You see, it's Passover. It's an important time in the Jewish calendar. People have to sacrifice animals in order to say sorry to God for the things that they've done wrong, and then they can be forgiven. And you can't just use any animal, you need a pure animal. And where are you supposed to get one of those from? Well, the priests set up a market here so you can come and buy what you need. Makes perfect sense if you ask me. But Jesus didn't think so. He comes storming in angry. I don't think I've ever actually seen him angry before, but anyway, in he comes, he turns over all the tables, money goes everywhere, and then he shouts at everyone to get out. I don't know what he was playing at. The people weren't happy, and not with the priests. But Jesus started going on about this being a place of worship and not somewhere to sell stuff, blah, 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 blah. And now everyone's gone. Who knows where? Who knows where they'll get their sacrifices now? I don't fully know what I expected when I started following Jesus. I don't think it was this. All those people cheering for him when he came into Jerusalem, like he was the best person on earth. I used to think he was. I thought he was the promised one, but now, I don't know, I sort of get this niggling feeling inside of me that I just can't quite shift. Perhaps he's not who I thought he was. I just don't know. Anyway, hold that thought. I just need to talk to someone. I'll be back.
I can't quite believe what just happened. We went to the temple and the priests had set up some stalls selling animals, not at a fair price at all. They were obviously just ripping people off. But anyway, that's not the point. I could see that Jesus wasn't happy, and rightly so, because the temple is meant to be a place where people can come to worship God and pray. But there was a dishonest market in the way. Well, Jesus wouldn't have it. He told the people to leave, told them that this was the house of God, and then he flipped the tables over and there were animals and money flying everywhere. We were all a bit shocked, actually. Jesus tells it as it is, but I hadn't seen him like that before. I just thought, oh, go on, Jesus. I mean, I know anger can be a bad thing, but he was standing up for the right thing, the thing that God would want. And I think that takes some guts.
I've just done something. I don't know whether it was a good idea or not. I saw the priests and they've given me 30 pieces of silver. And all I've got to do is to hand Jesus to them. 30 pieces of silver. That's a lot of money. But it's not all about the money. I mean, the priests, they really don't like Jesus. I don't fully know what they want with him, but he's supposed to be the Messiah, the one to save us, to set us free. And what's he done? He told some stories, taught us about God, healed some people. Well, that's all well and good, but I thought he was going to do so much more. Lots of people were expecting God to send someone who would come and overthrow the Romans, but that hasn't happened. Maybe, just maybe, this will make something happen. Maybe this will be the push he needs to save us. I've done the right thing. I'm sure I have. I have done the right thing, haven't I? Well, it's done now. No going back. I've done the right thing.
You know, Jesus constantly surprises me. We've just been sitting down for the dinner this evening, and it's our custom that hands and feet need to be washed before eating. And this dinner was particularly important. It was Passover, to remember how God brought our people out of slavery in Egypt all those years ago. Well, normally, washing feet is a servant's job. No one wants to wash someone else's feet. Oh, I mean, you should have seen and smelt the state of our feet earlier. But anyway, there wasn't a servant in the room, just a bowl of water and a towel. So, we all started arguing because nobody wants to wash smelly feet. And then Jesus picks up the bowl of water, bends down, and he starts washing our feet. Jesus, the Messiah, doing the job of a servant. Well, I wasn't having it. I wasn't going to let him wash my feet, but he insisted. And he washed everyone's feet. And then he told us he was doing it because he loved us, and that he wanted us to do the same for others, to love others in the way he has loved us. Well, we were stunned into silence. In fact, we were stunned into silence a few times during that meal, because what Jesus said next was, well, none of us were expecting it. Except Judas, of course.
He knew. I don't know how, but Jesus knew what I'd done. The way that he looked at me, I knew what he was about to say before he even said it. He said, one of you is going to betray me. Betray. That's a strong word. The others were all arguing, saying, surely not me, Lord. No, we'll fight for you. We'll fight for you. But I just sat there, and then he looked at me. What could I say? You don't mean me, Lord, was the best that I could come out with. What a stupid thing to say. Of course he meant me. And then he said it in front of everyone. He didn't just pull me aside for a quiet chat, but he said in front of everyone that I was going to betray him. I was so angry, so embarrassed. And so I left. What else could I do? He didn't even try to stop me. He just knew exactly what had happened, exactly what was about to happen, and he was resigned to it. He didn't try to get me to change my mind or to do something different. He accepted it, and he let me go. So I guess it's happening. 30 pieces of silver to me. I better go and see the priests.
Oh, none of us could believe it. Judas betrayed Jesus. Why would he do that? But Jesus was calm. He continued the meal, and he started saying strange things. He took some bread and said, "This is my body broken for you." And then he poured the wine and said, "This is my blood shed for you, poured out to forgive you of your sins. Whenever you eat and drink, remember me." To be honest, none of us were particularly sure what he meant by that. Why would we have to remember Jesus? He was right here with us. We're going to the Garden of Gethsemane with him in a minute. There was one particular thing that troubled me most during that meal. He didn't just single out Judas for what he was apparently going to do. He did it to me too. He said I would say 3 times that I didn't know him. I still can't believe it. I would never do that. I would die for Jesus if I had to. I'm loyal to the end. Why would he say that? He's normally right about everything. But this time, I really hope he isn't.
Jesus has been arrested. James and John and some of the other disciples just ran here to tell us. Apparently they were in the Garden of Gethsemane, and then Judas came along with some soldiers and they took Jesus away. They tried to stop them, but Peter even cut someone's ear off, but then Jesus just told them to put their swords away and he went with them. I don't understand. Why would Jesus let himself be arrested? I mean, why do they even want to arrest him? They've taken him to the high priests. There's even word of a trial, which is illegal to do at night time. None of us know what to do. I'm going to go and see what I can find out, but I just hope and pray that Jesus is okay and that everything's going to be all right.
It's done. I waited at the garden for the soldiers. I saw Jesus tell his disciples to keep awake with him while he went to pray. They fell asleep as I watched Jesus from the shadows. He was talking to God. He seemed slightly troubled. I heard him ask God if there was some other way, if he didn't have to go through this. I wondered what was going to happen after I played my part. He talked to God for a while, and then it was as if he'd made up his mind he would do what God had asked him to do. And it was as if he knew that the soldiers had just arrived, because he woke the disciples up and he told them that I was there to betray him. That word again, betray. Oh, it made my blood boil, so I led the soldiers to him. I showed them who Jesus was, and it was like the whole world stopped for a moment as Jesus looked at me, his eyes full of sadness, and he said, "Would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" Everything happened so quickly. The disciples got their knives out, it got messy. I heard someone shout about their ear and then silence. Jesus made everyone put their weapons down and went over and healed the man's ear, always showing love and kindness even to those that were there to hurt him. And then he was taken away. He was with the soldiers, and the disciples all ran off. Cowards. Or am I the coward? I overheard what the priests want to do with him. I think that Jesus might let it happen. It's bad, really bad. He doesn't deserve it, and it's not what I intended. I don't fully know what I did want to happen. I was angry, selfish, impatient. I didn't want this though. Would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss? Those words, they keep playing over and over again in my mind. I can't stop them. What have I done? What have I done? Maybe I can give the money back. Correct all of this. I'm done filming. You won't hear any more of me.
And so Jesus was right. I'm so ashamed to say he was right. I followed Jesus to the high priest's house. I waited outside to see if I could find out what was happening. There were loads of people gathered there, but it was dark, so I thought I'd be safe. But then a girl started to look at me, like she recognised me. She said she'd seen me with Jesus. Well, I panicked. I said I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't know him. I moved away. But someone else said they'd seen me with Jesus. I didn't want to get arrested as well, so again I said that I didn't know him. But then, a third time, a man was sure I'd been with Jesus. I was so scared by this point I didn't even stop to think. I just shouted out, "I don't know him! I don't know him!" Oh, then I realised what I'd done. I'd done exactly what Jesus said I would do. And then, I heard the rooster crow. And through the window, I saw Jesus. And he looked right at me. So I ran. I can't bear really to record anymore. He's in there. I don't know what's happening. And I can't stay to find out. It's too dangerous for any of us to be here right now.
We are coming to you live from the newsroom with some breaking news. After what has been an interesting night in the Governor Pilate's house. Earlier, we spoke to the man who started the trial, the High Priest Caiaphas. Here's what he had to say.
Caiaphas, you've just left the last-minute trial of the man known as Jesus of Nazareth, known to some as the King of the Jews.
Yes, he claims to be King of the Jews. However, we Jewish priests just do not believe a word of it. The fact that he claims to be God's son is blasphemy, totally against our religion. In fact, it's insulting.
So, is that why you brought him before Pilate?
Of course, we have a strict set of rules. Anyone who commits blasphemy punishment is death.
But only the governor is allowed to put people to death.
Yes, correct.
Could you tell us what happened in the trial? There are reports that Pilate was not keen to punish Jesus, that he thought he was in fact innocent of any charges.
Yes, he was unsure. Apparently his wife had dreamt that this Jesus was innocent and he was to have nothing to do with him, but we brought the evidence to him that Jesus was causing riots with his teaching, causing trouble all over Jerusalem, and he needed to be stopped. Let's face it, if the Romans discovered that Jesus was causing riots, they wouldn't be happy. I mean, Pilate lost control of these people. So I reminded him of that.
So you threatened him?
I wouldn't call it that.
Did you also bribe the crowd so they would find Jesus guilty?
The crowd made their decision. Pilate offered them the choice between freeing Barabbas or Jesus. They chose Barabbas.
They chose a murderer over someone that Pilate still thought was innocent.
I wouldn't say he was innocent.
So you did have something to do with the crowd's choice. After all, Pilate was just going to flog Jesus. They wouldn't stop shouting that they wanted him to be killed. It certainly sounds like they had someone egging them on, especially considering they were all cheering for Jesus only a few days ago.
People have every right to change their minds. And they changed Pilate's.
Sounded like Pilate still didn't agree. He washed his hands of it and said, you and the crowd were to blame for what was going to happen. Are you to blame?
Of course not.
There are reports that this trial should never have even taken place, that you and the other priests had a pre-trial that was in fact illegal. By law, you are not allowed to hold a trial at night, and yet you did. There are even rumours that some of your witnesses lied. They couldn't even keep their story straight. Caiaphas, was this really a fair and truthful trial?
The judgment has been made.
But should it have been? Did Jesus really do anything wrong? Or did you and the priests have a different problem with him? Was he becoming more popular than you? Were people listening to what he had to say more than you?
As I said, he committed blasphemy. That is a serious crime. And as for these claims of being God's son, I've never heard anything more ridiculous. He's dangerous, and now he shall face the punishment.
And what punishment was decided?
The normal Roman method, of course. Death by crucifixion.
Well, thank you, Caiaphas, for your time.
What an interesting morning it has been. Jesus, is he really guilty or not? You decide. That's all for now, but we'll keep you updated as the latest news comes in. Well, here we are live on the hill called Golgotha, known as the place of the skull. They made Jesus carry his cross up here, but he'd been so badly beaten he could hardly manage without help. Some of the soldiers gambled for his clothes. They offered him wine mixed with medicine to dull the pain, but he refused it. And now he's up there on the cross. Others being crucified too as well, but I'm not sure of their names. Above Jesus' head, they've put a sign that says, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." They've only just gone up, and you know crucifixions can take hours, if not days. So we may be in for a long wait. It's turning out to be an odd day. The whole land has just gone dark, and it's only midday. There's crowds of people here, and no one's quite sure what's going on. People have been shouting insults at Jesus, saying he saved others, but he can't save himself. Many people are questioning why God isn't saving his own son. The people are certainly entertained. Let's see if the sun comes back. That's it. I've never seen a crucifixion like it. The darkness stayed. Then, about 3 p.m, Jesus cried out, "It is finished," and died, just like that. Only took him 6 hours. The moment he died was something I will never forget. There was this earthquake. Apparently the curtain in the temple ripped in two. One Roman soldier ran off shouting, "Surely he was the Son of God." They broke the other two men's legs so they could take them all down and bury them. And there we have it, the end of the story of Jesus of Nazareth.
I can't believe it. I can't believe he's really gone. You know, I really thought that everything was going to be okay. What are we supposed to do now? Our teacher, our leader, he died. I saw it with my own eyes. Me and his mother Mary and some others, we watched from a distance as people mocked and shouted at the man that we all loved. The man that was more than a man. No, he is more than a man. You know, all the people that Jesus healed, the ones he brought back to life. And yet, for some reason, God didn't save him. It was like the world stopped for a moment when he died. The darkness, the earthquake, that had to have been God. And for a moment, I really didn't think he was dead. But he's been buried now. We took him to a man named Joseph's tomb, and he's been sealed in, and there he will stay. Caiaphas has even asked for some soldiers to be put on guard in front of the tomb to make sure that we don't steal the body. Why would we do that? We just all need to grieve. I should go. It's the Sabbath tomorrow, and I mean, we're all just a bit scared. What if Jesus' death wasn't enough, and what if they come for us next? stay in hiding over the weekend, and then on Sunday we'll go back to the tomb to say goodbye properly. He's alive. Jesus is alive. I know this is going to sound impossible, but hey, Jesus was good with the impossible. A few of us went to the tomb. You see, it's usual for us to put spices and balms on someone's body once they've died. And Saturday was a day of rest, so we had to wait until this morning. We weren't quite sure how we were going to get past the guards at the tomb or move the stone, but when we got there, the guards were gone. The stone was moved and the tomb was empty. We all started to panic at first. We thought maybe grave robbers had come to the tomb. But there was this angel, and the angel said that Jesus' body was no longer in there. Well, we ran to tell the others, and they didn't believe us, but then Peter came to the tomb and he found the expensive grave clothes that Jesus had been in, and they'd been left there. Grave robbers would have taken those with them. And then the angel said to us that Jesus was alive. None of us quite understood what was going on, and I didn't quite take it in because I was still so full of grief. I stayed at the tomb crying, and then I heard a man's voice ask me why I was crying. At first I just thought it was the gardener, and I said, "They've taken Jesus' body." But then he said my name, Mary, and instantly I knew. I recognised that voice. It was Jesus. I turned round and he was there standing right in front of me, smiling at me. I've never felt so happy in all of my life. And now I'm going to go and tell everyone. Jesus is not dead. Jesus is alive.
We are live with a very strange story. It would appear that Jesus of Nazareth has come back to life. We're hearing multiple reports from his followers saying he's come back from the dead. Of course, the priests are denying it, saying they've just taken the body to make it look like he's no longer dead. Let's hear from one of the soldiers who was guarding the tomb.
I don't even quite know how to fully explain what happened. One minute we were there guarding the tomb, and the next minute there was an earthquake and a flash of light so blinding I could hardly believe my eyes. I don't fully know what happened next. I must have hit my head or something, because the next thing I knew, the tomb was completely empty. Some sort of angel or something. The stone was rolled away and Jesus' body was gone. Never in my career has anything like this happened.
Well, there you have it. An apparent angel, an empty tomb. Has the King of the Jews in fact come back to life? I think that's a question we'll all have to wait for an answer for.
I can't stop smiling. I don't know why we ever doubted him. He's Jesus. Of course he had a plan. Of course he could come back to life. It was the plan all along. He needed to die so that he could take the punishment for the bad things that we've done. So we could all be forgiven. No surprise. The soldiers took back their story. There are rumours the priests bribed them and got them to tell everyone that it was us that stole the body. Oh, but it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I've seen Jesus with my own eyes, and I'm not the only one. Well, he's appeared to so many people, and do you know what? Even Thomas was able to touch the wounds in his hands and in his side. Jesus is here with us now, actually. He's cooking us a breakfast of fish. Oh dear. I felt so guilty when I first saw him. I'd denied him. I'd abandoned him. But in true Jesus style, he's forgiven me. He said he'll be returning to his Father soon, and he needs us to go and help people, to go and tell others about him. You know, he's even asked me to be the new leader. I'll admit, I don't quite feel good enough. After all, I'm just a fisherman. But he's asked, and I will never deny him again. So I will go and tell others about him, and whatever happens, happens. Yes, I'm nervous. Jesus has said it won't be easy. But I'm also hopeful of what the future will bring.